Hi guys, welcome to my kitchen. So today we're going to be making tikka masala. I have made this recipe before, but not homemade. And it's just as homemade as it can get. I am a mother of three, so there will be a lot of canned goods, pre-packaged spices. I don't have the time. I wish I had the luxury and the time to grind each specific spice and make it like really fresh. Unfortunately, I don't. So, last time I made this recipe, I did shortcut. I got the tikka masala from Trader Joe's. It was so good that I decided, yeah, let me try my hand at making it at home. And so that's what we're going to do today. First step is marinating the chicken. I am using chicken thighs. So, let's go ahead and get all those ingredients and start cooking. If you clean your chicken, clean your chicken. If you don't, you don't. That's up to you. I'm going to clean my chicken. Now, I don't make tikka masala every single day. And one thing about spices, they rack up, okay? As I was looking for the different individual spices for this recipe, I did come across this chicken masala seasoning mix. And I love doing mixes because it brings down the amount of spices that you collect. And most of the time, they end up going stale anyway because you don't make that recipe enough. So I found that this was like a good alternative. These are the ingredients. Next, I have minced garlic. Then we have ginger paste. And then we have some salt. And then we have some avocado oil. We also have Greek yogurt here. All right, let me actually do it like this. I am a physical therapist, but I studied in Australia. And so I find Australia can be diverse. The first 6 months I was there, I lived in Melbourne with my uncle. And so Melbourne is extremely diverse. I say it kind of reminds me of New York. And so because of that diversity, I really fell in love with Indian food while I was there. My best friend at the time in Melbourne, she's Indian. And so I just fell in love with the cuisine, especially because I got to experience it like homemade, fresh all the time. Anyways, I didn't know nothing about no butter chicken, no tikka masala, no biryani, all of that. And so she kind of introduced me to that. And a lot of like restaurants also really cater to the Indian cuisine. So I found myself just like craving Indian food and that palate for it. It's very specific and unique, very different from Asian food and Mexican food and Nigerian food, which is what I grew up on. And so I just fell in love with it. I do find similarities between like the consistency of Nigerian dishes compared to Indian dishes, but the flavor is just out of this world when it comes to Indian food. And so for the longest time, I only ate butter chicken, obviously because it has that creaminess, that sweetness. And the chicken is always cooked to perfection. But when I moved back home, I started to realize, oh, it's not everyday butter chicken. You know what I mean? When my daughter is napping, I tend to pair up that time for my son to have quiet time. So that way I do get a little bit of free time to do things like this. Oh, and a little bit about me. My name is Ashley, if you're new here. Hi. I am 30 something years old and married. I have a soon to be 10-year-old stepdaughter. My son is 2.5, and then my daughter is 10 months old. I work as a physical therapist on the weekends at a hospital. I absolutely love it. It does give me that nice break between being a stay at home mom and working. It's like a perfect balance. Is this vanilla? No, okay, because I did that last time. Go ahead and add a dollop of that yogurt. I just brought you in a little bit closer. So to the bowl, I just added a dollop of yogurt, about a teaspoon of the ginger paste, and really it's just measuring with our hearts, isn't it? I'm going to do the same amount of garlic as well, minced garlic, a little bit of that avocado oil. I'm going to go in with a little bit of the tikka masala seasoning. I'll probably do like half of it. And then I'll go in with my salt. That much. So the oven is set to 400. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the marinated chicken thighs into the oven and then start on the rest of the recipe. All right, for the rest of the chicken tikka masala recipe, we have some ghee, which each and every recipe that I looked up calls for ghee. Bread flour for the pita slash naan bread, some Greek yogurt, sugar, fresh parsley. You could use cilantro. I hate cilantro. Minced garlic, salt, ginger paste, the avocado oil, the chicken masala seasoning mix, a red onion. I have fire roasted tomatoes diced, and then I have half and half, which it calls for heavy cream, so if you have that, use that. And then it does not call for chickpeas, but I really wanted to try to incorporate that. All right, the only chopping that we really have to do is the onion and the parsley, and the parsley is just going to be for the garnish at the end. I absolutely love watching people chop onions. I don't really care for garlic or other vegetables, but onions, I don't know. It's like something about the fact that it is the foundation of all good, savory, cozy meals. And I just like to see how people do it. People do it in so many different ways. There's no wrong way. I mean, there probably is. Like, look at how pretty this is. I had a friend in college. His name was Luke Jackson. I highly doubt he will ever come across my video. So we used to work at the front desk of like the student center, if that makes sense. So I mean, there was moments where it's busy, but most times we had a lot of time to kill. And so we would have just these really weird, enlightening conversations. And one of the conversations we had was, I'm gonna rinse off the parsley. He was like, I know that there is a God because tangerines and oranges and even grapefruits are all pre-sliced. And I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, why would a fruit be pre-sliced? Like, if we weren't supposed to be here, why did the oranges already come ready to like separate? And at first I was like, Luke, please. But then I was like, wait a minute. All right. Go in with our ghee. Gonna add the red onion. And then go in with some garlic. I'm gonna go in a little bit of salt. Now that I've turned the heat down, I'm gonna go in and add the tomatoes. Sugar really is for the acidity. And a pinch of sugar. All right, we're gonna stir that up. I'm gonna turn up the heat again. I'm gonna add also a little bit of smoked paprika. Blitz and blend this up. Make it so that it's nice and creamy. Did you even cook if there aren't splatters everywhere? And let's go ahead and stir that all up. Right, let's let that simmer for about 10 minutes and then we'll come back, add in the cream and parsley, and let's plate this up and try it, okay? All right, so this is everything we'll need to make our pita bread slash naan bread. I have a big mixing bowl. This is baking powder, bread flour, which is very crucial, not all-purpose flour, Greek yogurt, parsley, garlic powder, salt. I also have my measuring cup, a spatula, and this is the only rolling pin I got, baby. So we're gonna work with what we got, okay? You always want to make sure you're working with a clean surface when you're working with any type of dough. Also make sure you have a little bit of extra flour to add as you go. Add a cup of bread flour. This is half a cup, so I'm gonna do 2 of these. Then we're gonna do a cup of Greek yogurt. Then we're going to do 3. This is half a teaspoon, so I'm going to do 6 of these. Let's add a little bit of salt and some garlic powder. Add a little bit of parsley. I am so shocked that they have not invented the smell-o-vision. Right, now that it's more into a dough consistency, I'm going to take a little bit of the flour and do an even layer on the surface. not I wore black. You don't have to be great at kneading to do this. Like, it's super easy, super simple. I think the main thing is using your hands to kind of gauge, is it too tacky? Should I add more flour? Do I keep kneading? I'm gonna add just a little bit more. Pushing it out, folding it, pushing it out. We're gonna cut it into 4 pieces, and then we're gonna roll it out. I kind of like that organic shape when it comes to my pita bread or my naan bread. Kind of makes it feel more homemade. Flour the surface. All right, let's go get my daughter the finishing touches. Honestly, smells insane. Move this over to the side. Should be like a nice stunning. So I'm gonna plate up my food. I've already heated up my bowl of rice.